I want to thank the three panelists for presenting on this topic. I am pleased to offer the response for this panel to the three informative papers. I am myself a product of the critical comparative scripture concentration here at CGU, and I did not know of its historical origination in Wimbush's efforts to revolutionize how we view scripture. So thank you to Dr. Welch for that fun fact. It makes me all the prouder to be a part of this discussion today that furthers our theorizing about Scripture. It is very evident to me that these three papers are the product of much time and reflection on the intriguing topic of what is Scripture. That gives us new metaphors, thought experiments, and definitions with which to grapple. Chris Thomas gives us a Pentecostal view of Scripture in which Scripture is likened to a black gospel choir. He argues that we must allow for the diversity and dissonances of the voices it produces, as well as the unity and harmonies, especially in the new resulting corporate sound that can be heard. Peter Toussaint provides us with a Barthian thought experiment that helpfully brackets the question of divine revelation in order to provide a richer definition of Scripture. So what counts as Scripture for a particular believing community includes a four-part answer, in which Scripture is a witness to a now inaccessible revelatory event that reflects current thought patterns, which can be revised and is corporately defined and authorized. Rosalind Welch focuses on how the process of scripturalization is a reception-centered and social process. She examines the recent Book of Mormon scholarship in order to expand on three Wimbushian points. Scripturalization involves communal material processes, so it is more about textures, not text. Scripturalization is about the sausage making in which Scripture is made real through its treatment within a community. It is more about reception, not conception. And scripturalization unearths the shifting power, racial, and cultural dynamics at play. It is more about excavation, not exegesis. All of these papers are grappling with questions as how different communities have conceived, perceived, and related to scriptures. Specifically, they are wrestling with what it signifies and how should it be defined. And all three papers utilize a comparative approach at times, especially between the Protestant and LDS traditions, which give rise to observations and insights in order to flesh out the nature and function of Scripture. To put our finger on the pulse of this complex, relational, and dynamic concept that often has been seen in the past as a text and an object, but is becoming more seen as a social process, a give-and-take transactional nexus of meaning, an event's witness. It can be likened to how light can be both a wave and a particle. What we learn from this discussion is that the phenomena of Scripture and scripturalization both have a communal quality. It is a dance between participants, whether that be a relationship between a text and a reader, one's text voice with another text voice, or its reception with a community of believers. Each panelist touched on this theme. Thomas with his emphasis on the new corporate sound of the choir when two or more scriptural voices sing the same notes devoted to the same topic. Toussaint with his emphasis on the corporate definition and authorization of that occurs, and Welch with their emphasis on the social and receptive aspect. But there's a second theme I noticed. It's the humble hesitancy with which these scholars approach and broach such a human-centered, multivalent activity. No one here is wanting to have the last word. I think we all want to just move the conversation forward. I believe we do gain such ground when we theorize about Scripture with such a unified yet diverse community as found here today, using a humble yet hopeful attitude of faith-seeking understanding. Thank you.